Hello everyone, I'm Mike Manjos and this is this week's Market Wrap. So back in Philly, Giants lost again. Seems like it's going to be a very long winter. Not traveling, staying at home, thank God for watches. I want to give a special shout out this week. Leo in our marketing department has been sending Market Wrap out in Chinese to his Chinese clientele. And apparently we're getting a great following in China. So I just wanted to give a great big thank you to all our loyal fans in China. Just wanted to thank them for watching and hopefully you'll continue to enjoy the program. So 3 watches this week that we love, and it was another great week. The first one is a Jaeger Perpetual calendar, but it's the alarm. I have always been a huge fan of Jaeger, especially the Memovox. There's very few alarm watches on the market. This particular one is stainless steel, Perpetual calendar with an alarm. Gives it a great value for a really complicated movement. Just think it's a great piece. We don't see very many of them come through. The second piece is Rolex. We always got to have a Rolex in there, and this week we got in a Smurf. Now again, Smurf's been around for a number of years, but now it's gone. Obviously sad to see it go. The prices have skyrocketed. It's just something that was underappreciated when it was made. I just love that blue color and white gold sport watches in general. Just an awesome piece to have in the collection. I'm sure it's going to go quickly. And the last piece I just got in was a Rolex, and it's a 5513, but it's a very special 5513. Now, we've all seen Submariners with the writing in red, but this particular one was made for al-Assad of Syria. It was made in the early 70s. It's got Arabic writing on it, where you'd normally see the red Submariner. Very rare piece, very cool, all original condition. A little bit beat up, but that's what subs are supposed to be like. Just an amazing collectible 5513. Just get so excited when stuff like that comes across my desk. So in general, last week was a little bit of a quieter week. The weekend actually started exploding. My phone was blowing up all weekend and we've been buying like crazy. The stock market has been consistently testing new highs. We've bought some really big lots, a lot of packages of watches coming through. And typically, this is something that happens every 4 years. It's election season. Obviously, we're just a few weeks out from the election. It's typically a time when the watch market slows down. A lot of people are focusing on the election, so they might kind of wait to see how things pan out and see how it might affect business and obviously on pricing. I expect we'll see more people selling pre-election. Prices are still very strong. People might want to get out and cash out while things are strong. But I really believe once the election passes, I think the market's going to go pretty much right back to where it was, regardless of the outcome. More and more people over the last 6 months have been engaging in watches, trading, watching content. Kind of COVID has forced everybody online. So you've gotten a great engagement of people, and more people are paying attention to watches these days. The second thing that we've seen happen is great shortages, specifically in special models. Rolex has shortages, Patek has shortages. So I think the combination of more people getting into watches, fewer watches in the market, going to keep prices high even after the election. One of the things I've been seeing lately, which I really like, is we've seen more and more collectors venturing towards smaller brands. Now, we always had, and on the last couple of years, the market was kind of making me crazy because it seemed like everybody only wanted 4 or 5 watches. Steel Daytona, 5711, an AP 15202, the prices just kept getting bigger and bigger because very few watches, more people just wanting the same watch. I've seen the last couple months, people kind of getting off that hamster wheel of the same product and getting into Lange, Moser, obviously Journe, but also MB&F, Groenfeld. It's great to see people come off some of these big major brands, the most popular items, and getting into a little bit more of the boutique special pieces that you can collect. Now, for years, a lot of my guys were always worried about buying smaller brands because at the time there was very few people who would buy them. Liquidity was always an issue. If you wanted to get out, it was a limited market. But over the last year or two, more and more dealers are trading in these kind of brands, and we're seeing much more liquidity in the market, especially in the smaller brands. Last week, we talked about Snoopy. We saw the internet explode. We sold both our black Snoopys this week. So I think we're going to see that market continue to go up. They were trading in the 12 to 13 range. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that original black Snoopy hit 15 before the end of the year. And finally, more and more Rolex models are hitting the market. We're seeing subs coming in on a regular basis. The Kermits are trading. We've seen the prices come down a little bit as new goods are introduced into the market, just as we expected. I think over the next few weeks, you'll see those prices come back even a little bit more. They are going to produce them as more pieces and get delivered, more pieces get in the secondary market. We'll see those prices come down a little bit. We're also seeing stabilization really in hulks. And the thing that's surprising me the most is we're seeing Pepsis and Batgirls actually pick up in price. I really thought with everybody focusing on the new product, we might see those prices come down. But just to the opposite, I'm seeing strength in those pieces. And the Smurfs, like we had spoken about earlier, going through the roof. So the last thing we're going to talk about today is what we're buying. Now, the first piece I put up there was a 5119J. Now, this most people will think of as the most common, most popular Patek Philippe classic Calatrava hobnail bezel. But the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is they're no more made. It's been discontinued. Almost every Calatrava with a hobnail bezel is now discontinued. I think they're such a classic piece. I think over time, they'll either reintroduce a new model at a higher level, or these will just become really collectible, great pieces. Love that watch. The second piece is the Datograph Up Downs. So this is the second generation Datograph, bigger size, power reserve, awesome watch. They would trade at a big discount to retail. We're seeing those creep up as well. And the last piece I'm actively going after is the 116520 Daytonas. So again, previous generation, people are really appreciating what the steel bezels were. Ceramic prices have gone through the roof. So there's a big spread between the ceramics and the steels. I think we'll continue to see those go up. So that's this week's market wrap. I hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing you next week.